welcome back to Third Win Thursdays. I'm Scott Hibbard. I'm joined by John and Eric,
I'm
partners
back.
at TWG. Eric, glad to have you back.
Back from the West Coast, back on East Coast time, and here and ready. No more flight
Awesome.
delays.
All right, well, I guess we'll jump right into it. Let's start off by talking about the XFL and our DC Defenders. So the regular season is over now, and I want to ask you guys who has your pick to win it all and what your thoughts are on XFL 3.0.
Beer snake.
Look,
Beer snake.
I haven't watched a single game. I watched one quarter of one game. So let me preface what I'm about to say with that context. However, the DC Defenders are a wagon, and they're going all the way to the championship. That's just a fact. Have you seen the beer snake? All right, the power of the beer snake will take DC to yet another title. That you can take that to the bank. I don't care what the odds are. I mean, they are a wagon. They're going to win it all.
Fun fact about me is I worked event ops for the DC Defenders and XFL 2.0. I'm pretty sure it was 2.0. Maybe it was 1.5. But
who knows how many they've had.
Either way, go Defenders.
Yeah, I mean, just like you guys, DC Defenders all the way. Glad to see some type of energy behind XFL 3.0. And Audi Field almost took away the beer snake, but they gave it back to the people, and the people have brought the DC Defenders to the final, well, to the playoffs at least. So hopefully we go all the way and win it all.
Scott, it's amazing though. You buried the lead. Today is Christmas in April. It is the NFL draft. All right. I love the XFL. I love what the Defenders.
We're gonna get there.
Hey, yeah.
But let's be honest.
I was about to say the next thing on
this draft day.
The next thing on is let me say how I was gonna say it. There's something else sports fans are excited about aside from TWT today. And that's the NFL draft. So with that being said, we'll jump right into the headlines, John, and feel free to give your general thoughts, guys. But here you go.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. The NFL draft is the gift that keeps on giving for media. TV networks are not only media outlets going overboard on draft, radio stations, online media, and magazines milking off-season event. I mean, let me just tell you this. The NFL draft is a 24/7, 365 property. And it is kind of insane how it got here. But back in the day when they were first doing the NFL draft, it was literally just a bunch of dudes calling in to an office in New York or like sending in faxes. You know what I mean? Like nobody cared. Absolutely nobody cared. And now, Eric, literally tens of thousands of people are going to Kansas City almost on a pilgrimage. This is like a football, pilgrimage for NFL fans to go and literally just watch guys' names get called, with 15-minute interludes.
If you're in a dynasty fantasy league like me, you're just looking for who you're going to draft in this year's upcoming fantasy dynasty draft. Got to get the
No, it's amazing. I mean, you look at all the mock draft sites, every single major sports media, outlet has your draft gurus. The amount of advertising that people are all drafting on the draft, if you will, in media because it garners so much attention. Pretty incredible. And yeah, I'm going to be glued to the screen tonight and at least tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow night. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? I also have I'll give you a quick story. My brother made an NFL draft game where you chip in like $50 and you get to basically do an auction for who you think is going to get drafted the highest. And then you get a certain amount of points. If you get like a player who was expected to go lower but goes really high,
you get draft squares, the Balcom draft squares.
Exactly. It's an innovation, I gotta say.
We'll tease it out here and we'll show it in another episode. I just have to say, as a Baltimore Raven fan, today is a scary day because Like, please, Lamar, just sign the contract and let's draft another wide receiver or another linebacker, something to help the defense. Like, just let's figure it out before tonight comes around, please.
Let's just hope that Lamar doesn't get traded before the end.
Don't say those words. Stop. Don't say those words.
All right, Scott, what's next?
All right. Well, I'll just say I can't be glued to the screen, but I'll see it all on my phone tomorrow morning. Hopefully my New England
stay up till 3 a.m. You're not gonna watch it with all the UK guys in the pub?
I mean, maybe that's where I'll end up. I'll keep you guys posted. That'll be my story time for next week. Yeah, all right, but before that, keeping it local. Here you go.
All right. The headline is the Orioles are dealt another loss in TV rights dispute. The New York Court of Appeals sides with the Nationals in latest legal turn in long-running rights fee dispute. The litigation has been a factor in the potential sale of the Nationals. This is from AJ Perez at Front Office Sports. Dude, Eric, this has been one of the most ridiculous, long, like stretched out legal disputes that have affected our beloved Orioles and our neighbors here in DC, Nationals, pretty much since 2005. This is a legal battle that's going on for almost 2 decades. And it looks like the Orioles are going to lose and are going to have to pay up an extra $100 million that they supposedly owe to the Nationals. So what are the implications of this? At least, I mean, it's not even done yet. There's like more litigation to come, more legal nonsense to come, but what are the implications?
I mean, it's just crazy. I'm realizing now, I think every week we've talked about some regional sports network news on it's been one of the headlines as we've talked about things, and it's crazy how many things are popping up now and all the news coming around. But honestly, the implications here is it's just more confusion and reshaping of the RSN space. Let's say MASN was making money. Even though they're not making money, this is now even more reason to say, all right, you know what? Maybe we do have to back out of what we're doing here. Maybe it is time for a big ESPN or an Apple MLB on Apple TV is going to be happening soon. And, you try to figure out like, okay, what's going well for regional sports networks? Not too much. This just gets added to a long list of what's not going well for them. So shame on the Nats for the in-party fighting.
No. I mean, this is a deal that was negotiated by the Orioles when the Nationals moved from Montreal to become, the Expos moved from Montreal to become the Nationals, right? They said, they basically said to the Orioles, all right, we realize you might lose, some market share here. So we're going to give you extremely favorable terms on this regional sports network. You're going to own 65%. The Nationals will only own 35%, right? And then what they didn't say is like, here's exactly how you're going to split the revenue. So they screwed themselves, or at least the Nats and MLB screwed themselves from the start, right? Without clarifying the terms, what have you, yada, yada, yada. 2 decades later, we still haven't figured this out. But I think, like to your point, Eric, I think this is going to get resolved and the Orioles will take a hit. But I think regional sports networks are going to get nixed completely in the next 5 to 7 years. Before the end of this decade, there will be no more regional sports networks. It will all either go to MLB.tv, or it will go to some, Apple, Amazon, YouTube TV, what have you, because why not? Everybody's streaming anyway. MASN's streaming service is terrible.
It's atrocious. It is.
Sorry for our MASN list. But get your streaming app together. But anyway, this is just a footnote in the end of regional sports networks before the end of the decade. And it's like, why did they go through all these legal battles to just end, right? Yeah. In a couple of years.
Yeah. I bet you the judge, though, is a Yankees fan. It's a New York court. Just throwing that out there.
Not impartial.
One thing we can all agree on is we all hate the Yankees. So
there we go.
True. Hey, and Scott, don't want to mention this, but where are the Red Sox in the standing?
Have not even checked, but from what
still in the base.
Maybe it's better that I haven't checked. All right. So here we go. Number 3.
All right. From Reuters, how do you say that? UFC owner endeavor to sell sports school IMG Academy in $1.25 billion deal with a B. Eric, you know about high school sports. You know about these academies. $1.25 billion for IMG Academy.
It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of, I guess, proprietary value. Consider calling the athletes and young kids property to this massive company, because that's essentially what it seems like. My first thought was, obviously, for audio listeners, I'm over here sprinkling the cash that Endeavor must have been sprinkling for this sale to get this one pulled through. But I'm wondering, with Endeavor just recently purchasing UFC and having that merger and everything, do you think they're going to make every IMG kid like leave basketball, leave football, and everyone's just going UFC? Is that their long-term play here?
No. I actually think Endeavor just needed more cash on the balance sheet ultimately. And they're really doubling down on UFC and WWE because they're like, that is the cash cow, right? That's how we're going to make all our money, not by running this academy. But what this speaks to me, though, is the commercialization of youth sports, right? I mean, holy cow, $1.25 billion for essentially a school system that trains elite young athletes, right? That's it, right? It's properties down in Florida. It's all of the coaches / teachers, but like, do they teach kids anything other than how to be an elite athlete at these places? Look, commercialization, professionalization of youth sports has been going on for a long time, and this sale just goes to show you how much money companies are making by training elite young athletes. And it's going further and further downstream, right? The professor, like, once you're 14, 15 years old, you're basically, as an athlete, you're basically a professional, or at least now with NIL, you have all the opportunities that a professional does. And it's like, maybe there's a little bit too much pressure going on our youth. Maybe we're commercializing things a little bit too much, but hey, what do I know, right? What do I know? It's all about the profits, all about the bottom line. End of the day, clearly, this business model was effective because, it's been IMG Academy's been around for 30, 40 years, right? It's helped train players like Serena and Venus Williams, right? Other great tennis players, Andre Agassi, right? It was originally a tennis-focused academy. They've just expanded it out, and they have basketball, football, baseball, et cetera, golf. So it's amazing that there's this much commercial value in youth sports.
Yeah, I wonder what the parents who are paying, for their 10-year-old, paying $3,000-$4,000 a year for their 10-year-old to play a sport. I wonder what they think of when they see this purchase made by Endeavor. And again, just wondering where all the money in youth sports is going and where it's coming from. And again, making sure that these kids and young athletes are prepared for whatever the future is on or off the field. That's what you would hope IMG would be doing. So I'll give Endeavor the benefit of the doubt that maybe they'll invest into the curriculum a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, remember, for everything you want to say about the NCAA, remember what they say. There are so many NCAA college athletes, and 98% of them go pro in something other than sports. So it's like, all right, we got to remember that there's a small minority of these youth athletes who are going to become professionals. So what are we teaching them? How are we empowering them to have a successful career, even if they're not athletes, right?
Like when they leave the quarter field and end up running an agency.
Exactly. Perfect example. I quit being a competitive athlete when I was a junior in high school. So
we all did, didn't we, Jen?
Whether we like to admit it or not.
Exactly. All right. Well, that was it for the headlines. And John, I checked, we're last in the AL East.
And the O's are
yes.
16-8, sitting pretty.
Hey, 13-13, Yankees 14-11. I think maybe we can beat out our long-lasting competitors.
Look, if the Yankees are in the basement end of year, we're all going to celebrate.
Exactly.
It'll be a beautiful day for baseball.
There we go. Pop some bubbles. All right. Well, with that being said, let's jump into the third win for the week. Here you go.
All right, everybody. This week, actually talking about rivals, the Dallas Cowboys my least favorite
They did a good
NFL
thing.
team by far, not even close. But I got to give them credit for this week's third win. The Cowboys announced a partnership with BSPNTX, and that is the National Society of Black Sports Professionals in North Texas. Now, a little bit more detail here. Looks like they're going to be investing in kind of like helping fund this programming for the next several years, being very like integrated into the growth of the network, helping career development, career advancement, networking opportunities. I mean, pretty awesome. This is one of those ones where, oh yeah, this makes sense, right? This is one of those partnerships like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Put your money where your mouth is when it comes to DEI. Also, selfishly as the Cowboys, you want more great talent to come work for your organization, right? So why not invest in a network like this to where, hey, maybe you're hiring your future leaders for your business from a network like this. So when I'm always thinking about partnerships, and we talk about this, Eric, it's like, is this authentic? Like, does this make sense, right? Is this just clear greenwashing, cause washing, et cetera, et cetera? No, I can actually see this one. And for all the ill will I have towards the Cowboys on the field, credit to them for a great program here and a great 3-win style partnership.
Yeah, and for sure, I think this is a good framework that there's multiple chapters of the National Society of Black Sports Professionals all across the country. There's one in DC, again, all over the country. So you could see the opportunities that could come up. Whether it's a Mystics, Capitals, Monumental Sports working and collaborating with nationals, with the DC chapter of the Black Sports Professionals, or any other place around the country where the pipeline and the opportunity for career development, for a young undergrad or somebody who's in a master's program to get that chance to go work, event ops at a team, or to get that chance to go do ticket sales or whatever it could be. It's that first step in. And everybody who's in the sports and entertainment industry, and we know this very well too, a lot of the things that happen, it's who and the connections and the relationship you can build. So for this to be another stepping stone to say, here is a pathway for the not typical executive of an NFL team, this is how it starts, and how 5-10 years down the line you see more diversity who rightfully deserve to be there, and are finally getting those chances inside the front offices of several teams. So again, shout out to the Cowboys. I'd love to see, again, NFL wide, would love to see something like this.
Yeah, this reminds me a little bit of Sports Biz Cares, one of the nonprofits we've worked with and supported in the past. Shout out Patrick Stack and Roger Jones, one of our advisors who's on the board over there. And they're working more with like high school and college age. But it's cool though to see there's a whole pipeline, going from around high school, junior, senior year, all the way through your early career. It's hard to break through in sports entertainment, so it makes a lot of sense to invest early and often to help everybody have a good shot at breaking through into the industry.
Yeah, and they're going in as founding partners is what they call them, which is like the highest level of support. So hopefully that means a lot of integration into each other's programs. And there was a mention of new scholarships coming along, sponsored by the Cowboys. So hopefully a lot of people that deserve a spot in the industry getting the opportunity to do so.
This makes me think, Scott, about like 3-win sponsorship is not just like the sponsors who come in and support the team. It's the team using the same methodology and mindset to sponsor organizations, right? Like win-win-win, I always talk about it as a mindset. It's not necessarily something you do, just in sponsorship of like brands that sponsor your property or you as an individual. It's a mindset you can take then out, for your organization to go out and work with organizations pursuing a great mission, pursuing a great cause that you believe in. So it's a lens, it's a mindset. This is why we talk about it every week, because the third win is a way of being, I guess, as an organization.
Exactly. Well, with that being said, we'll jump into our final segment, Coach's Corner. Coach Eric, it's your turn. since you emailed out of it. No, I'm kidding it. Since you weren't around last week.
I'm listening to Coach's Corner from the sidelines, but I'm in the locker room today.
Exactly. So without further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. And I just want to start by saying, guys, John, you didn't even know what my Coach's Corner was today, but you perfectly segued into it. Today, we're going to talk about urgency and patience and how that mindset, how that idea, that philosophy leads to success in business, in life. Shoot, it leads to success on the soccer field or baseball field or wherever you want to be. Having this mindset is really important, again, to make sure that you understand what's happening now, what's right in front of you, but you see the long-term vision. You understand the long-term goals. So I'm going to start real quick with a quote I pulled. Author said this, that success requires both urgency and patience. Be urgent about making the effort and patient about seeing the results. And that really sticks in partnerships and in business. You're urgent about, again, keeping communication open, making sure that people understand what your client or what a brand can bring to the table, what an activation can do for a community. But you have to be patient in understanding that those decisions take time. Those decisions to announce things, the decisions to, approve and to sign on the dotted line. Sometimes those take time, but you have to have the urgency to make sure you get there and make sure you provide as much responsible information to who you're working with as possible. Generally in business, you see, prioritizing whatever tasks are in front of you, going all the way back to my accounting lifestyle I used to have. During tax season, you see the end of the tunnel. You have the patience for April 15th to come around, but you have to prioritize day to day. What am I going to do to lead to my future goals? And that, again, goes across all businesses. And in life, you have to have the patience to understand that, what you want coming up next, that life event that might be coming for you, you can't just rush to it. You have to enjoy the journey in front of you. And that's where the urgency comes from. Urgency is all about being in the moment, being present, and understanding the opportunities that are looking you right in the face. And again, having the patience to know that once you put your best foot forward, all you can do is leave yourself in that good position and see the results come to fruition. So that's Coach's Corner for the week, everybody. Now let's get back on the field.
Wow, I want to run through a brick wall. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Yeah. This is one of those things that it's like, yeah, it's paradoxical. You need to have both of these in your mind at the same time. What's important to do right now, bias towards action right now, with a understanding that, hey, you aren't necessarily going to see the result that you want right away. So beautifully said. Beautifully said, Coach Dorsey.
Thank you, sir. Coach Scott, when are you coming up to the locker room?
Geez. Putting me on the spot here. Who knows? Maybe I'll come up with something for next week.
There we go.
Have you ever watched Ted Lasso, Scott? You're like the assistant who's like rising. Yeah, he's rising up, and then I guess becomes a rival. I haven't actually seen that season.
Oh yeah, well,
hold up.
I don't know if I'll do that yet, but
give it a few years. Scott's going to come out with a TWG competitor and just try and crush it.
Never. No. Loyalty. Maybe that'll be my Coach's Corner.
I like it.
But yeah, I actually won 3 months of Apple TV for running. So next up is season 3, Ted Lasso. You're looking forward to watch that. But that's all we have for today. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on as always, sharing your thoughts and insights, and looking forward to next week. We'll bring a lot to the table as well.
Hey, and the Carolina Panthers are now on the clock, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. Well said. Peace, people.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Bye.